Hi friends, welcome back. So today I have some little terracotta pots and I need to paint them. I am next month teaching at paint night again, and what we're doing, because I'm trying to be a little more creative during paint night, is I'm gonna have everybody bring in 1 to 3 smaller size terracotta pots and we're going to do custom paint jobs on them. So I'm not going to have anything super specific that anybody's going to be working on for this paint night, but I want to have some example pieces that I can bring in. I will also probably be doing this with my mom and my sister-in-law in a few more weeks, just so I have a few more examples of what the ladies could be doing for paint night. I will probably just have like pictures of everything. But for tonight, I have 2 terracotta pots, and I thought we should spend some time together and work on them. I have 2 different color schemes in mind, but we'll kind of see what I end up doing because I'm not 100% sure what I want to do with each of them. I do want to work on both of them at the same time because I think that'll just work better. So while stuff is drying on one, I can work on the next step on the other, stuff like that. But I think this will be really fun. I think it's going to be a really fun paint night as well. And if you guys have any ideas of stuff that I might want to try on these terracotta pots for showing to the ladies at paint night, please let me know in the description box because I could use some ideas. If you have like this little like cute fun ideas that wouldn't be too difficult and that we can paint in like an hour, that would be lovely. But for today, I have a couple of ideas in mind and we'll see what we end up with in terms of color. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn the camera angle, point it down, and put my compression glove on, I think. Will I? I don't know. We'll see if I put it on or not. I know I should, but we'll see. I'm deciding. Anyway, I'll change the camera angle and let's paint some terracotta pots because I think this will be really fun. Okay, so I've got 2 of these little terracotta pots. I thought about getting smaller ones, but because I want these to be examples for the ladies that I'm teaching, I didn't want to do them too small because I thought that if I did them too small, it would be a little more difficult to really see. So I just went with this size. I thought that looked like a nice size. And I'm just gonna be, I've sketched out ideas already, which is why I'm just able to start painting right away. But so this one, I've got these 2 kind of funky shaped sections that are gonna be shades of pink. And then I'll be adding kind of a modern leafy shape. Well, it's not super modern, it's just a branch. I'll be adding like some branches around it. The other one I'm thinking of doing some vines and then either just putting some cute leaves or maybe just doing some little flowers, but nothing too complicated because again, for paint night, we really don't have a ton of time. We have like an hour all told. So I want to keep the designs relatively simple so that, like, if the ladies come with their own designs, they can obviously do whatever they want, but if they wanted to do designs similarly to these, it wouldn't be difficult for them to do 2 separate pots and just get them done in the time frame and everything. I have had challenges with paint night before because I always bring in original artwork to teach, but my style is a little more advanced than some of the ladies are comfortable doing. Literally all of them have loved having me as a teacher. Everybody's all excited whenever I teach. But I try to have like some fun stuff that we can do in there too. So it's not all super stressful, difficult paintings, but you get like some fun things like this too. Not that the harder ones aren't fun, because they are, but they're more challenging and they can be a little bit more stressful. So I want to have at least a few pieces in a year that are super low stress and very like any of the ladies could look at this and be like, oh, I could do that. That shouldn't be too bad. Because again, I don't want it to be a stressful thing for them to go to. This is supposed to be like a fun getaway for all of the ladies. So I want to make sure that it stays fun and doesn't get to be almost like it's a hassle for everyone involved. I would rather it stay fun, as I'm sure everyone would. So we're going to let that section dry for a second. And let's work on the vines on the other pot just for a minute while that dries. I probably won't finish the vines yet, but I am going to go back and forth between the two pots just, just to make sure that I'm getting all my bases covered and everything. So this one I've just sketched out a bunch of vine-ish lines and figured we'd just trace those. I don't know how many pots each of the ladies is going to be bringing either. I will probably buy 3 or 4 to teach while I'm there. But I figured the ladies could either do like one big pot or several small pots, kind of whatever they're feeling like. Because again, I don't want it to be stressful. I want you to have fun. And if you need some terracotta pots for something, you may as well do them in paint night and make them extra pretty. Am I right? And I'm just using acrylic gouache for this. I will use just standard acrylic paint when I teach it, but I didn't feel like getting my acrylic paint out right now. So we're using gouache. I also am not planning on actually putting plants in these. You totally can, especially with it being acrylic gouache. If you're just going to do gouache, you would need to glaze it, but I don't have any of that equipment, so I will not be doing that. If you do acrylic though, it'll stay nicely. My mom, sister-in-law, and I did terracotta pots several years ago at this point, and I don't know how my sister-in-law's is doing. I don't actually know how mine is doing either because I gave it away, but my mom's still looks super good. She did like tulips or something on it, and it came out really pretty. She did a really good job on it. But if you're looking at this and going, well, that's never going to last once you put a plant in it, they do. And it's honestly better for plants if you're going to do terracotta pots if you don't glaze them, because the whole point of terracotta is that it allows your plant to breathe. So if you glaze it, you're removing the whole point of why terracotta in the first place, which I think is awfully funny, honestly. When I did this before, I did like a hobbit hole. So I did a little like round door, and I did a couple of windows, and I think I did vines on that one too, honestly. And it turned out super cute. I ended up putting a bougainvillea, I don't know. I put a cute plant in it, and I gave it to one of my best friends for her graduation when she got her master's degree. And I think when her mom moved, she took the pot with her, because my friend is not very much the green thumb, which, to be fair, I'm still working on mine. I would love to have more of a green thumb. I really like plants, but so far I've been pretty good about killing them. I have some houseplants that are doing decently well though this year, so we'll see how it goes. I just bought an ivy that said it was really easy to take care of and that it liked low light, and that's what I have. It is like crazy windy outside, by the way, so if you're hearing a lot of noise in the background, I apologize, but today's forecast just said, and I quote, wind. So that's all we have. We have wind. It was so nice out yesterday. I was hoping it was going to be really nice out again today. Nope. Just windy. So windy that I don't even want to go outside. I've been working on photographing my artworks for my website, which again, still planning on launching that this year. I think right now we're looking at fall. But I have to photograph them outside because I don't have that much light in my house. And my studio lights will just glare off the varnish on the paintings, so those don't work. So I have to shoot them outside. But I've been busy on the weekends lately. And then yesterday I finally had some time, did a little bit of shooting, only to discover when I went to edit that I wasn't quite in focus. And I didn't have time to edit until like later in the day. So this afternoon I thought I will go outside and try to photograph those paintings again. Well, it's too windy. I tried and it literally blew it off the wall. So not doing that. Not risking my paintings just so that I can photograph them. This feels very tedious, but we're moving right along. And I don't know how long it's actually going to take to do these. When I did them with my mom and my sister-in-law ages ago, we spent like the entire evening working on it. And I want to make sure that it's not something that's going to take a super long amount of time, especially if anybody wants to do two. So, trying to keep it simple. I feel like I could have used a thinner brush. But I also know that at paint night, nobody will have a thinner brush, so it's probably good if my lines are a bit more bold. So nobody feels like that's not something that they can do with the provided brushes. I do think this looks pretty cool though. Almost done with these. Then we'll probably go back to the other one for a minute. And I'm glad that I drew these out ahead of time because I would have been very indecisive on where I wanted to put anything. I usually try to sketch out whatever I'm painting, which I'm pretty sure you guys have seen me do. I just find that it's easier to not get overwhelmed if I do a sketch first and then just kind of fill in. Or if I don't do that, it can be quite a bit overwhelming to look at a big piece and just be like, where do I even start? Okay. Totally just realized that that wasn't the color I was going to do for this, but I like that color. So, oh well. They're just going to match a little bit more than I thought that they would, these two pots. Okay, so then we're going to do this top bit in a lighter pink. I might use a different brush. I liked that one, but not as much as I thought I would. Let's do this one. This might take a couple layers. I do think one of the hardest parts of doing the terracotta pots is remembering that your colors won't come out exactly like you think they will because you're not painting on white, you're painting on terracotta. So eventually, if you do enough layers, it will look like the color you thought it would. But that does take a bit of doing. Which, again, I'm fine with doing. But I don't want it to be too much of a hassle for the ladies I'll be teaching. It is a really fun thing to get to do, and I think it's I'm not the type of person really to teach stuff. It's kind of not my jam. But I think that paint night has been really good for me because I've had that opportunity to learn like what people are looking for in a teacher and that opportunity to hone your skills. That really, like, teaching is the only way you can really hone some of the skills in a lot of cases, because if you have to explain to somebody else how to do the thing that you do all the time, then you'll really learn how to do that thing that you do all the time because you've had to explain it. Because there are a lot of brushstrokes that I just naturally do now, but trying to explain them to somebody is quite a challenge. And when I get it right, it's very exciting. When I get it right and they understand exactly what I'm saying, that is like an absolute highlight. I love that. We'll go like this, since that's the section that has that pink. All right. I think I want to do another layer on that, but I want to let that dry first. Because I think if I tried to put more on it now, I might pull some of the paint up. So rather than do that, let's just go back to the other pot once my brush is clean. There we go. Let's move you over here. And then we have the question of what exactly do I want to do with the rest of this? Because I had the idea for vines. I have some colors out to do like some flowers or something. but I'm not super sure what all I want here. I think I might take one of these 3 brushes and make some leaves. And I'll use this color, this bright aqua green, as like a mixer for that Viridian that I already have. Okay, let's see here. Trying to like keep everything in sight for you guys. Okay. How to. Okay. That's going to be like ridiculously tedious. But I think that's kind of the look that I'm after, unfortunately. Okay. I might want to do a smaller brush though. I think I'm going to do a few in this size brush and then I'm going to switch to a smaller one. Keep thumping on the table. I made sure to put the tablecloth down so that the thumping would not be absolutely ridiculous, because I had a feeling that doing terracotta pots was going to get noisy. I actually really want to see if I can talk the ladies into letting me film at paint night so that I can kind of show you guys what it's like. But I really don't think that any of them would go for it, which is why I haven't really asked yet. They want me to teach a Spanish-speaking one, but I unfortunately do not know Spanish. I've tried so many times to learn Spanish. It just doesn't stick. I love languages. I think they're like so cool and it's so interesting. But my brain is like, no, we speak English. Even like when I was in the years where I could have learned Spanish, it wouldn't stick. I know a few words here and there, but not a ton. I can como esta, but I can't get much further. Donde, I think might be where. I don't remember. Anyway, it is a really fun thing to do. If you have a skill that you have like a creative skill, I highly recommend seeing if there's like a way that you can teach it. Not necessarily like teach it, but like in a chill setting like paint night, because nobody pays for it. It's just a free group that the church puts on. And we all just get together and hang out and paint. So it's like a chill setting, but you get to use this skill that you've honed over time. And I just think that's really fun. I also just really like that the church supports stuff like that. A lot of churches don't, which I think is a mistake because people like the arts. I think it's very silly to just be like, no art in church. That's just dumb. Okay, so now we've got a smaller brush. And we'll just add a few more leaves. I don't want to do a ton. I just want to have some. I just want it to be not blah. No blah, but also no overwhelming amount of paint. Doesn't have to be perfect. Leaves don't have to be perfect. But it's just nice to get that little bit of extra color going. And that little bit of extra pizzazz, apparently. Pizzazz. Pizzazz. No random S in front of the word. Just pizzazz. Okay. Let's fix the shape of that guy. I don't love that. What do you guys think so far? I think this is kind of fun. Not going for anything like super fancy. I just want something cute. I think I'm actually going to be using both of these as like candy bowls. So not something that is going to need to really hold up over time. Just over a little bit of time. Well, I mean, it won't need to hold up against water, I guess is what I'm saying. Because I'm just planning on putting candy and nothing crazy. Let's see. Oops. That wasn't what I wanted. There you go. That looks like a good spot for a leaf. Here. Maybe another one here. I like to do stuff that the gals can be creative but not have to be overly creative or not necessarily like overly thoughtful, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Around Christmas time, I taught ornaments, which I think I did some with you guys too. Those little wooden ornaments. I think those are so fun. I have more of those I want to do. I want to just have some of those that aren't Christmassy and hang them on a wall in my living room. I think that would be really cute. Maybe one of these weeks we'll do that. My hand is just about done being able to do this brush stroke. At the end of this month, I start occupational therapy for my hand. We'll see how that goes. Fail. Yeah. Okay. Alright, I've definitely come all the way around. I just want to add a couple more on this side. Like that. I think that looks quite cute. Alright, then I think maybe I'll get out my fan brush after we do the next coat of pink on that other one. I'll get out my fan brush and we can do kind of just like some grass on the bottom of this guy. And then after that, we can come in with these two colors and do some additional leaves with these two. So it'll kind of look a little bit bougainvillea-y. Bougainvillea. All right, so medium magenta. Actually, I gotta dig this out. Close. All right, where's my, here it is. Where's my, there it is. I pick on my mom for saying that a lot. Where's my, there it is. It happens though, you'll be looking for something right when you go to ask, you see it. Where's my, oh there it is, never mind. Oops. When I did the first coat of this pink, I wasn't sure I actually liked it with the terracotta, but now I really think I do. I think that's kind of cute. I don't think that the color is showing up correctly on camera. I think it's a little more purple on camera than it is in person, but I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. Think it's too garish of a pink, or did I do okay? I basically just picked my two magentas because I knew the quinacridone was going to look good, was terracotta, because I've painted those two colors on stuff before. And I've been trying to use the medium magenta more often because it's really pretty. It's a nice pink. It's almost like a Barbie pink without being too pink, because I also have a fluorescent pink that's hot pink. And that one I almost never use because I don't really know what to do with it. I use like tiny little touches of it on various paintings, and most of the time you would never even know it's there. Which in my opinion is probably the way hot pink should be. Alright, so there's that color. I think that looks oddly good. Alright, and we'll let that dry again. And now while that's drying, we will take Peach and Prism Violet. We'll add some more leaves to this vine one, and then I think the vine one is going to be done. And we can focus on the other one. Okay. Let's start with Prism Violet, I think. If I can get it to come out of the tube. Well, it finally came out, but a little bit more than I wanted. Oh well. I'll just get both colors out, that way they're out. Okay, and then Peach. Okay, let's use that same brush. Get it wet. And get the chunk out of my Prism Violet. All right. That's pretty. I like that color. So I will be teaching this at the end of June. And I'm looking forward to it. When they asked me to teach the Spanish class, they were doing it in November, and I offered that I could teach the same ornaments that I did last year for the main paint night group, but the ladies really want to do just a canvas, which I get it. But the ladies at the main paint night are like, we could do other crafts. And we're still painting. or just painting on a different surface. Which I say counts, because still painting, just a different kind. And I like getting the chance to like stretch your creative legs a little bit and try something that you would not normally try. Which is funny because when I go to paint night, if I'm just going, I never paint what they're painting. I paint my own thing. I usually, when I go, I will try out something new, and something that I think could be fun for the group, to see if I can paint it in the amount of time. Because technically we have 2 hours, but so many people are late all the time that we usually start like a half an hour to an hour late. And then we take a 15 to 20 minute break in the middle for like kind of a mini snack potluck. And that takes a lot of your time up. Because if you start a half an hour late and then you take a 20-minute break, that's almost half of your time. So I almost have to, not almost, I have to design stuff that can be fully painted in an hour by people who don't normally paint. So I have to kind of simplify some of my normal designs, or come up with things that are specifically intended for paint night. They've been wanting me to teach them a fox, and I just don't know if I can actually do that in the amount of time that we have. I'm down to try, but I don't know if it's gonna work. All right, I actually really like that. I think that looks really cute. And we'll go ahead and keep going with the peach ones. Keep my brush wet. See if this color even really shows up on the terracotta. Ah! Sorry, hang on. My brush is peeing on me. Stop. Stop. Just the tip wet. Okay, that looks better. This one will sometimes attack me. Yeah, that's cute. I like that color. That actually looks really nice on the terracotta. I thought that it would. I thought this color would look really nice. I'm having to do like kind of a thicker coat of it so that it'll pop a little better, but that's fine. I kind of got too much of it out of the bottle anyway. So it all works out. Probably is a better thing that I'm ending up using the same colors almost for both paintings, because I got a little bit too much out of some of these things. So I could just use it on the other pot and not feel like I'm quote unquote wasting paint. Which, as you all know, I never really feel like I'm wasting paint. If you get into the mindset that you can waste paint, then you start to feel bad anytime you get a color out and decide that you're not going to use it. And can sometimes guilt yourself into using that color on a painting that doesn't want that color. So I'm honestly very cautious about ever having that thought of don't waste paint. For that reason and a few others, I think sometimes you just unintentionally get out a little bit more than you meant to, or you think you're going to use more and then you don't. And I don't think that's a waste. I really don't. I think that's your idea changing partway through. And especially if you're going to mix some colors, I would rather have too much paint out than not enough. Because if you mix something, it's really hard to mix back to it. Which is why for stuff like this, I don't do color mixing for the most part. For paint night, I don't make them mix their own colors. I do for some things if it's just something easy like gray. I'm like, don't buy gray. You can make gray. You know how to make gray. But complex colors, no, just buy those. For the most part, I just buy my complex colors anyway. This is looking really cute. Donk. Let's do one here. And then there. Then one more. And then I think this guy's done, honestly. Oh, we were gonna add like some grassy stuff to the bottom. I don't know, does it need it? Hang on, finish cleaning my brush. Or is that just cute like that? Because I think that might just be cute. I think that's cute like that. I like that. Okay. Let's leave that one as is. Then we'll go to this one. Okay, so first things first. Well, maybe I'll just use the Prism Violet because I have that out already. I was thinking I would do an outline in black, but I got too much out of both that Prism Violet and that peach. And I'm not going to be picky with this line. I just want it to be a nice bold line. That's all I care about. Okay. I forget how much I like these two colors together. I don't use them together that often. Most of the time, if I'm going to use something in this tone, I will use either Prism Violet or Quinacridone Magenta. Very rarely do I use both. But a lot of the time you don't need to use both. Most artwork does not want both, at least most of the artworks that I do. Okay. Then same thing to the medium magenta. Actually, I think that makes both colors look even better. I like it. Make sure we get all the way up with that line. Okay, so we're gonna have to let that dry for a second. And then I'm gonna have to look at my reference photo. Okay, so now we're gonna take this number 6 round brush, and I've sketched up a couple of lines that I'm gonna follow just as kind of a base so that I don't go over, I guess. But I'm gonna load this up with paint. We're basically gonna do the same shape as the ones we were doing on the other pot, just larger. Like that. Don't actually love that first one that I did. I think I might at least give it more of a point, like that. Like so. And it's got a little bit of texture from the color on the bottom, but I don't think that's a big deal, really. All right. Like that. Oh, I really like that one, actually. That one's not big enough. There we go. There's the right size. Okay. So just a couple more leaves on this one. Like that. And then another one like this. See if I can kind of curve that up a little bit. Like that. So that, but then let me just set this brush down, and just so you guys can see exactly what I'm doing here, I'll go ahead and put the stem in as well. So we've got this cute stem. Get in there. Okay. And then from there we will add some extra colors for detail, but we're going to have 3 of those. This is the second one. I don't actually know which one of these is going to be my favorite either. They're different enough that I don't know which one I would pick, just like off the top of my head. But they're also similar enough that I can totally put them side by side if I want. Which, to be fair, is what I was going for when I designed the 2 that I wanted to do. There are honestly a lot of people online who paint terracotta pots too. Like, if you don't feel like spending the time to paint these, but you really want some cute terracotta pots, just go on Etsy and search for painted terracotta pots, because I got my ideas for these off of Etsy, if I'm being perfectly honest. Where did I put my stem? There it is. Alright. I like these leaves. These are one of my favorite kinds of leaves to do. And I love when I get to use this brush. This is a Mimic brush. I got it from Jerry's Artarama. And all of my Mimic brushes are just, they're legit. They're my favorites. I only have 3, but I use them whenever I can because I love them so much. Okay, last leaf here. Then we'll put that stem in and we'll go do the 3rd branch, I guess. Stem. The 3rd one. Like that. Cute. Okay, and then the last one, I think I intended for it to be a little bit shorter. Yep, there it is. So this one shouldn't take too terribly long. All right. You guys will have to let me know which one is your favorite. now that I'm like working on this one for more time, it might be this one, but I also just really like how cute the other one turned out. The other one I think is cuter, and this one I think is funner. So I guess it just depends on whether you want cute or fun. All right. We have like 3 or 4 more leaves. That. Okay, let me just get that tip a little better on there. Like that. Okay, that's cute too. Then I can clean my brush. You can tell when we're getting closer to the end of a project because I start running out of things to say and we focus on the painting. Which I like whenever I'm watching other artists paint, so I assume that you guys like that too. That. Alright, cool. Now, I think I'm going to use the peach for this, and I think I'm going to use my number 1 round brush. Not going to start there because I just painted that one. All right. So the goal here isn't to really outline it, but just to, outline it, yeah, but not just like a flat static outline. But like a legit cute swoopy outline. Make it look a little more painterly, basically. Takes a little more focus. Why, yes, I did just use these lines to cover up some oopsies. think the other trouble with terracotta is it really sucks up your paint. So you'll think you have the right amount of paint on your brush and go to do a nice long stroke like that, and it'll suck up all your paint when you're partway through. That looks cute. Okay, now I can't set this down while I do this. Because that's still drying. Should I just give it a minute? Maybe. Do I feel like giving it a minute? No. You know what I could do is this. So I can't set it down, but I can make it a little easier on my hand. Okay. Extra little stroke there. Oh, I think this is going to look really fun. Lots of artists really enjoy these like last finishing touches. I get antsy. So my battery died, but that's how that one looks. And we just have this one left to do. There's my brush. Couldn't figure out where I put it. It was in the water. All right. I actually kind of liked doing it like this. I'll tell you, this video has been a challenge to try to keep stuff in focus for you guys, but also be able to see what I'm doing, especially with these smaller details. But again, I really like how these pots have turned out. Okay, 3 more leaves. Too much paint on my brush. Almost done with this thing. That makes it sound like I don't like it, but I do actually really like it. And I think I've managed to succeed and get both of these done in just about an hour. Which was the goal. Too much. There. Okay, clean my brush up. And then we'll take a look at the finished pots. Okay, let's start with the first one again. So this one, we've got those cute vinies with the 3-color leaves, which I really like this. I think that that's very cute. Not too dramatic. It should just kind of vanish a little bit, which for something like this is what I was going for. But then if the ladies want to do something a little more bold and fun, I've got this design that still is not difficult, but is really cute, really different, and I think will make a really fun piece for anybody to have. I had a lot of fun with this. Yeah, I'm so excited to get to teach this to the ladies. I will let you know how that goes. And the next time I do a video where I show you the stuff I've been working on lately, I'll show you whatever pots I paint for that class. Thank you guys so much for joining me for this video, and I will see you in a couple weeks with something brand new, because I always do. Bye!